Yeah. Uh. Yeah. Uh. Yeah.
All right, question one. You are employed in a family agency setting and you provide your colleague with a percentage of your earnings when you receive a new referral for your services. What type of practice would this be considered? All right, so you as a social worker, you are employed in a family agency, and each time you get a referral, you provide your colleague with a percentage of your earnings. So, this question is asking us, what type of practice would this be considered? Would we say this is something that's innovative? No, we're going to rule this one out. Would we say this is just common practice? No, again, we're going to rule this one out. Is this going to be considered an advertising fee? Again, no. C is not going to be our best option. The correct answer to this one is going to be unethical. The NASW strictly prohibits the payment of fees for referrals. So therefore, in this setting here, this behavior would be unacceptable. Question two. You have been meeting with AJ for the past 3 months in an individual therapy. During your most recent session with AJ, he self-reports that he has been paying prostitutes for sex and buying illegal drugs for the past few months. What is your first action? All right, so we need to figure out what is going to be the first thing that we do in this scenario. So our client is AJ. We have been meeting with him for the past 3 months, and he is completing individual therapy. Now, during one of your most recent sessions, AJ says, you know what? I've been paying for prostitutes, for sex, and I've been buying illegal drugs for the past few months. All right, so as a social worker, what is going to be the first thing that you do after AJ has just disclosed this information to you? Are you going to do A, suggest that AJ find a therapist who specializes in addictions? Not really. And the reason we're going to rule this one out is we have already been working with AJ for the past 3 months. We are not going to just automatically refer him out to someone who specializes in addiction. Not our first point of action. B, call law enforcement and inform them of AJ's actions. No, we are not going to do that. That would not be appropriate in this situation. C, acknowledge AJ's feelings and explore the reasons behind his behavior. Okay, I like it. Let's hold on to it. D, ask AJ if he knows what he is doing is illegal. Okay, y'all, so we are definitely going to rule out D because that is very judgmental. So just by process of elimination, we know our correct answer is going to be C. We want to acknowledge that AJ has disclosed this information. And by doing so, it highlights the importance of preserving the trust that AJ has developed with you. Additionally, this is going to be the correct answer because as social workers, we are tasked with preserving the dignity of the person and respecting the importance of human relationships. And then C is also a really good option because it supports the acknowledgement and validating of AJ's feelings. Question 3. You are meeting with Jill in individual therapy for depression. During this session, Jill states, you can't tell anyone I told you this, okay? As a licensed social worker, what is the first thing you should do? Okay, y'all, here we go again with this first word. Now, I want you all to kind of drill this in your mind that first can also be substituted for next, or it could be the best thing, okay? So let's go into our question. Our client is Jill. We are meeting with her for individual therapy. Now, during this session, Jill tells you, you can't tell anyone I told you this, okay? Okay, this should be an automatic red flag. When a client tells you, you can't tell anyone I told you this, automatic red flag. So, your client, Jill, just disclosed this information to you. What is going to be the first thing that you want to do? Are we going to promise Jill that anything she says during the session will be kept confidential? Absolutely not. We don't know what Jill is going to say, so we are going to rule this out. B, Inform Jill of the limits associated with social worker-client confidentiality. Okay, possibly. Let's hold on to it. C. Inform Jill that you are only there to help her and will not place judgment. Okay, so although in conversation we will possibly say, I'm not here to judge you, I am going to help you, this is not going to be the first thing that we do, and it's definitely not going to be our best option to select after Jill has told you, you can't tell anyone I told you this. B is going to be our correct answer. We want to inform Jill of the limits associated with social worker client confidentiality. And it's so important to remember that as social workers, we cannot promise that everything will be kept confidential. For example, if you had a client who was in danger to themselves or others, we are mandated reporters. So, by explaining the limits on confidentiality, you allow your client to determine what they would like to share with you during that session. Which of the following is the most major factor related to client age that distinguishes between protective services cases with adult elderly clients and child clients? All right, so this is really, it's a lot of words in this, right? So let's break this down. We are looking for the correct answer that is going to be a major factor related to a client's age. And the client's age is simply between adult elderly clients and then children clients. So would it be A, the dynamics between a primary client and family members or caregivers who are responsible for creating the conditions that require protective services? B, the types of abusive or neglectful conditions present in the cases? Or C, adult clients have legal, ethical rights to refuse any or all proposed services in such cases, but children do not. All right, y'all, so the correct answer to this one is going to be C. The major distinction between children and adults is going to strictly involve the ability to exercise self-determination. Children do not technically have a right to refuse services because of their age, right? However, in adult clients, they have that ability to exercise self-determination. They can say, you know what, I want to terminate this services. So that is going to be our correct answer for this one. Question 5. According to the NASW, which of the following best describes the guidance on the use of self-disclosure when meeting with clients? Okay, so in this question, we need to have knowledge of the NASW, and then we need to figure out which one of these answer selections is going to best describe the guidance of self-disclosure. Would it be, it is up to the social worker's discretion? Okay, sometimes let's hold on to it, but let's hold on. B, it must be approved by a supervisory authority. Absolutely not. We are going to eliminate B. It is only used with informed consent. Okay, we are also going to eliminate C. It is only used as a last resort. Okay, this is also a really good option. So let's go back into our question. We need to figure out, according to the NASW, when is it appropriate to use self-disclosure when meeting with clients? D is going to be our correct answer. It is only used as a last resort. So the use of self-disclosure should be used when it is going to be therapeutically useful and only when there is no other way to achieve the same therapeutic realm. Additionally, the NASW indicates that self-disclosure should be used as a last resort. We would not want to do A. It is up to the social worker's discretion, because your discretion as a social worker, you could feel as if, you know what, I needed to tell them this or I needed to tell them that. However, the information that you disclose to them could not be therapeutic to what their goals are. So D is going to be our correct answer. William is a clinical social worker who has recently been experiencing attraction toward one of his clients, a man who was around the same age as him. William discloses these feelings to you, his colleague. What should you do? All right, so we have William here, who is a clinical social worker. Now, William has been experiencing attraction to one of his clients, and he lets you know what? I feel some type of way towards one of my clients. He's telling you this as a colleague. So, as a colleague, how will you respond to William? Are you going to do A, encourage William to openly discuss his feelings with his client? Absolutely not. We are not going to be like, you know what, William, go ahead and let them know how you feel, because this is a violation of a dual relationship. Not the correct answer. B, suggest that William terminate services with the client as soon as possible. As a colleague, this would not be our correct answer. C, tell William to discuss the issue with the supervisor on a regular basis to maintain accountability. Okay, possibly. Let's hold on to it. D, contact the social work board and notify them of William's disclosure. Again, we are going to rule out D because this is way too extreme, right? So our correct answer is going to tell William to discuss these feelings that he has with his client to his supervisor. By doing this, we are ensuring that William is accountable for his actions. And also, it would be unethical to engage in any kind of sexual relationship with the client. Therefore, the best option would be to offer good advice by suggesting that William talk about his feelings with the supervisor to maintain accountability for his actions while he's meeting with this client that he is experiencing attraction to. Nia reports that she had an affair with her previous social worker while she was a client. What should the social worker supervisor had done? All right, so we have Nia, right? She let you know, I had a previous affair with one of my old social workers while I was a client. So this question is asking us, what should that social worker supervisor had done? Should that supervisor had reported the social worker to the appropriate regulatory board? No, we're going to rule this one out. B, ask the social worker about his relationship with Nia. Okay, possibly. Suggest that Nia receive treatment at another clinic. All right, so our correct answer to this one is going to be B. So the supervisor has a responsibility to both Nia and that other social worker. Therefore, before taking any sort of action, as in reporting them to the regulatory board, the supervisor will need to provide the social worker with an opportunity to respond to the allegations that were made. We need more information, right? You are employed by a private practice agency when you see the father of one of your close friends in the waiting room. You should. All right, so your role as a social worker is you're employed at a private practice agency, and while you're at your agency, you see the father of one of your close friends is in the waiting room. So you should do A, greet your friend's father without encouraging further conversation. Okay, possibly. Let's hold on to it. B, greet your friend's father and introduce him to other members of the practice. Absolutely not. We are not going to go around introducing our friend's father to all of our colleagues. That is inappropriate. C, greet your friend's father and loudly ask him why he is there. Again, this is going to be inappropriate. We are not going to blurt out all this information to figure out why are you here so other people in that waiting room can hear. D, ignore your friend's father. Nope. We are also going to rule this one out. So our correct answer is going to be A. We are going to say, hey, how are you doing? However, we are not going to engage in any further conversation. So by ignoring the father, it would make the father feel uncomfortable, and it could also be perceived as being rude. And then you would not want to introduce the father to other members, as this includes overstepping boundaries. A is going to be our best option in this situation. You are employed in a children's medical hospital and your client is David, an 11-year-old boy who was ready to be discharged. David was initially admitted to your unit due to signs of physical abuse, and you are coordinating his discharge plan. David's mother denies abuse, and David himself has requested to return home with his mother. Which of the following factors should be given the highest priority? All right, so we are employed in a children's medical hospital. Our client is David. He's an 11-year-old boy, and David is ready to be discharged. Now, it's so important to acknowledge this, that David was initially admitted to your unit due to signs of abuse, so you are coordinating his discharge plan. Now, David's mom says, you know what, no abuse occurred, and David himself also said, you know what, I'm ready to go back home with my mother, right? So as the social worker, what is going to be the highest priority when we are coordinating David's discharge plan? Is it going to be the self-determination rights of David? No. David is 11 years old. We are going to rule this one out. The legal rights of the matter? Nope. We're also going to rule out B. C. David's safety. This is going to be the top priority when coordinating this discharge plan. And I want you all to remember that the highest priority during any type of discharge planning and coordination is always going to be that client's safety. We need to ensure that David is truly going to be safe when we get ready to discharge him back to his mother because he was admitted to signs of physical abuse. Question 10. You are serving on a board of directors for a local counseling agency. It would be unethical for you to do which of the following? All right, so our role here is we're serving on the board of directors for a local counseling agency. So this question is asking us which one of our answer selections would be considered unethical. So would it be A, serve on another committee within the same agency? No, that's not considered unethical, so we're going to rule this out. B, be a paid consultant for the counseling agency. Okay, let's hold on to it. This is giving red flags. C, determine the performance criteria of agency employees. Okay, so this is not considered unethical. D, review the agency's financial reports. Again, this is not something that is unethical. Our correct answer is going to be B. This would be considered a conflict of interest for a social worker who sits on the agency board to also be a paid consultant. Now, the other options, A, C, and D, are all actions that are usually taken by a board member. Okay, I really hope that you all enjoyed these 10 questions, and make sure that you tune back in for the next video. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend and subscribe. Thank y'all.